Welcome to Reflection Wednesday. What examples of God's CHESED, or steadfast love or loyalty, did you find in the book of Ruth? Now, the word Yahweh, which is God's covenant name, occurs in Ruth 15 times, and the word God 3 times, and the title the Almighty twice. And yet, this individual never speaks in Ruth, never performs any miracles. And most of the references that use Yahweh's name, they're in an oath or in a blessing. Only twice do we see it said that Yahweh did something. He either brought food to the people of Bethlehem who had been in a famine, and he allowed Ruth to conceive. Now, certainly from one perspective, this is just mere coincidence. Certainly a case could be made that the CHESED of Yahweh is as fickle as what Naomi seems to suggest in chapter 120, verse 21. She says, "The Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. The Lord has dealt harshly with me, and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me." Now, to see the hand of God, to move beyond coincidence, you have to be able to see the affairs of life from the point of view of the covenant made to Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. You'll remember that covenant. God promises to make Abraham's descendants a blessed and great nation, who in turn will be a blessing to all the earth. Now, many of you will remember that after Abraham received this covenant and he arrives in the land of Canaan, he faces a famine. And then Pharaoh takes his wife. And then there are escalating tensions with a nephew. And a barren Sarah still remains. Now, the covenant did not promise and does not promise a carefree life. Rather, it is God's commitment to provide the necessary resources and experiences so that the Lord can redeem the world through Abraham and his descendants and all who believe as Abraham did. Thus, even when faced with obstacles, tragedies, and the lack of blessings, true believers trusted that God would keep his covenant. Consider Lamentations 3, where the writer laments the destruction of Jerusalem and all the subsequent losses of every blessing Israel had had. The writer says, "The thought of my affliction and my homelessness is wormwood and gall. My soul continually thinks of it and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul, therefore I will hope in him." That's Lamentations 3:19 through 24. This tenacious expectation that Yahweh will act through and for his people differs from the hope of a movement, say, like QAnon. QAnon promises a speedy recovery. Biblical hope recognizes God's promises may be fulfilled long past our lifetime. QAnon seeks a restoration of things as they were. Biblical expectations realize that when God restores his blessings, a new reality is created, one in which no one quite anticipated. QAnon rages against the evil ones who have stolen the blessed life, while biblical hope understands that when there's a withdrawal of blessings, it could be for chastisement for sin, or it may be the method that God uses to shape and mold the character of his people. QAnon appeals to self-interest while God appeals to the reclamation of the entire world. For Ruth, Boaz, and eventually Naomi, they see God righting wrongs, transforming selfishness into steadfast love. God is alive and well in the book of Ruth as he is in our own lives. Now, do you realize that every blessing using the name of Yahweh found in Ruth becomes a reality? You see, the Lord is with us regardless of whether we sense his presence or not. As we look back over time, God has always been there. He is always guiding. He's always protecting the whole way through. Until next time, expect the Lord to bless you enough to get his goal done and make you the type of person he wants you to be.